Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another episode of the D2 Nation podcast, and I am your co-host, Wayne Cavadi, and joining me, as always, is the great Bethany Bowman. Sorry we took an unannounced one-week hiatus last week, but with the D2 basketball madness, it caught up to us, and we needed a breather. And Bethany, you were at the Ford Center to watch a little bit of history.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks again for having me back. And yeah, I think case closed. Northwest Missouri State best run in the history of D2 men's basketball, and Ben McCollum, Trevor Hudgens, future Hall of Famers for sure as a coach and MVP. So that was a lot of fun to watch, but I know it's your favorite season. Time to get fully into baseball and you're excited about it. So MLB spring training is underway. D2 baseball is hitting the halfway point. Let's turn our attention to the field. Joining us today from one of the hottest teams in D2 is North Greenville head coach Landon Powell and All-American Michael Faile. Welcome to the nation, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're really excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited that you're here. As we said, you're a red hot team. You've been a good team for years now, so it's fun to sit down and talk to you. And what we like to do is start off at the beginning because that's a great place to start. Michael, we'll start with you. Looking at your bio, you were a two-time All-State player in South Carolina. In 2018, you were the high school player of the year. Tell us a little bit about what your recruiting process was like and how you wound up picking North Greenville to play.
Yeah, so when I went through high school, I was kind of a late bloomer. And so I didn't really kind of put up big numbers until my junior year. And so all of the Power 5 schools, the big Power 5 schools kind of passed on me. I had some interest in going to mid-major schools. But when I kind of heard about North Greenville, I came on a visit and saw the atmosphere and the energy that they bring every single day. I got to build a relationship with all of the coaches and Landon. And just, I wanted to go somewhere where I could play right away and have the opportunity to play every day. And so that's why I ended up going to the D2 level and especially North Greenville.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're excited that was the choice that you made. It's turned out pretty good. Now, Coach, for you, when we have coaches on the show, not only are they former D2 student athletes, but they usually play for the school that they're at. You, on the other hand, for our listeners that don't know, have had quite the career for you, and I might make you blush here a little bit, but I mean, your college baseball resume speaks for itself. You're one of the greatest players, especially catchers in SEC history. I mean, you're on the all-time College World Series team, and you got to play in the big leagues for a few years. When that was all done, when that career was all done, what brought you to North Greenville?
So I retired in 2013. That was my last year playing. I had a couple offers to go coach in the pro ranks with the minor league teams, and just really felt a need to come home. My wife and I had some family things going on that we really wanted to kind of settle in and be back home. I was ready to be a family guy and be around my kids every day. Pro ball lifestyle is really tough. You're away from home a lot. You're living out of a suitcase, and I was ready to come home. So I made the decision to get out of pro baseball, and I really loved college baseball. I grew up a bat boy at NC State and a bullpen catcher, and just had this big love for college baseball. It was something it made a big impact on my life. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go home and I'm going to get involved in college baseball some way, somehow. Furman University called me. They were here in Greenville. So the reason Greenville was my choice is my wife was born and raised here. So I met her in college. She was from here. Her parents and sisters and nephews and nieces all live here in Greenville. So she chased me around the pro ball years for 11, 12 years and lived wherever I was. So I told her, least we could do when I retired was to move home and live where she wanted to live. And so that's why Greenville became the place. I went to Furman for 1 year as an assistant. And then at the end of that first season, North Greenville called and offered me their head job. And, for me, it was just an opportunity to run a program as a 32-year-old. I was just finished playing in the big leagues. I felt like I could make an impact and do something special. And North Greenville was a school looking for a coach to come in and build something new. And it was just a good fit for me. I'm a Christian. This is a school in my hometown. And it was, to be honest with you, Wayne, it was a very barren baseball program, bad facilities. They didn't have a lot of success in previous years. So I looked at it as a clean slate, kind of an empty canvas, a perfect place to start a program and do something special. And that's how I wound up here. And, I'll be honest, when I first came here, I probably thought it was a stepping stone to another job. And I got here and I just fell in love with it. And I've really enjoyed what I'm doing. I enjoy my quality of life. I enjoy getting to go home and see my kids at night. And North Greenville's been a blessing for me, and I love being here.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, and you say coach subpar facilities, but you wouldn't know it looking at your background. Absolutely beautiful field you guys have there. John Michael, let's talk a little bit about what you do on that field. You are a career 400 hitter with power, setting the program record for home runs last season. You had a ridiculous 1.411 OPS last season. Talk us through an at-bat. What is your approach like, and what have you done to seemingly get better every single year?
Yeah, so my approach to hitting is I try to backspin balls gap to gap. That's kind of what I think about when I go hit. And so what I mean by that is I want to be on time for a fastball and hit it to, center field or right field. And then that kind of keeps me on time for breaking balls and off speed. That kind of gives me more leeway to the left side of the field. But, we come here every day, and it's so easy to just come out to the field every single day. And so when you have so many guys out here, we have so many guys getting on the field early and, hitting off the machine and hitting in the cage. So it's easy to get out there and just kind of have fun with the guys, but also get better. And so that's what I've been lucky and fortunate enough to do for the last, 3 years. So that's how I look at it. That's my approach to hitting. And also, I just try to have fun with the guys out on the field.
And I'll follow up on him because he's very humble. I've been around a lot of great hitters in my career, especially some of the best that ever played at the pro level. And John Mike is just a special kid. Like, he's got a knack to control the barrel. He can adjust his swing late to barrel up sliders or change ups. He's got really fast hands. It's hard to beat him with a fastball. And he's a disciplined hitter. He really stays inside the strike zone, and he knows what he's trying to do. Like he said, he's trying to backspin balls middle of the field. He's a true power guy. And when he first got here, he kind of top spin a lot of balls and side spin, hooked balls foul. And so one of the things we worked on right away was staying inside the baseball, backspinning balls toward the middle so that he maximizes his power. Turn those singles into doubles and homers. And he took to it right away. And that's why you've seen the numbers he's put up over the last 3 years. I mean, they're video game numbers.
They are. As someone that covers the sport, it's fun. You look at them and sometimes you just laugh because they're so good.
Don't play at a very hitter-friendly park. I mean, we just played a series here this weekend that the wind was blowing in 20, 25 miles per hour. I think he hit 4 balls that go out of most parks that were caught or doubles. So he probably should have more home runs than what he has.
That's great.
So interesting to hear that too, because, baseball, I think a lot of people, their focus would just be make contact. Like, it's just so hard anyway. And then you listen to him talk about the little things that he's focusing on, and that just makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, he's an advanced hitter. There's no doubt.
And John Michael, just to follow up a little bit, you're also a catcher, right? And the guy sitting next to you played a lot of catcher. He swung a good bat. How much has that helped, having someone that's kind of been in the position that you're in now, to have gone through it, to have that not only by your side, but as your coach?
Yeah, that's it's such an advantage that, a lot of other players don't have, and they're not fortunate enough to, be around a guy like Landon every single day. And so that's another big reason why I chose to come here, was because, my goal in baseball is to play at the professional level. And, I'm learning from somebody every day that's, already accomplished that goal. And so just being around him and kind of picking his brain each and every day it's special.
Yeah, I bet. Now let's talk a bit about the team a little bit. You're both, as you mentioned, the past few years have been successful. You're very accustomed to being a winning program. You're 26-5. You've won the last 8. But what I've been most impressed with is that what you're doing against the top teams in the region in particular, right? You have wins against Lenoir Rhine. You have wins against Cavadi. You have wins against North Georgia. You just swept Mount Olive. Coach, we'll go to you. What has this team clicking and makes it so special right now?
So I think for us, we have a very veteran team. So we're returning, like this year, we returned 8 of our 9 starters from last year's team, a lot of veterans. John Mike was starting since a freshman year. So now he's a junior, and he's, got a lot of games under his belt. We have our entire outfield, our left fielder, center fielder, both are 3-year starters. Second baseman's a 3-year starter. A lot of veterans. So we felt really good about our offense coming into the year. Pitching staff was a little new. We lost some starters last year and had some new blood come in this year, but we knew we had talent. We knew we had that veteran presence, which is very important in playing tough competition. You know, we feel like we're going to, you know, honestly, our team in their heads think every game we play, they should win. That's their mindset. They don't feel overmatched. And so with the confidence they've been able to build the last several years in this program, it's fun to watch them play now because they don't ever feel like they're out of a game. They don't ever feel like they can't compete. We have a very tough schedule. This is the toughest schedule that I've had since I've been at North Greenville, and these guys have really risen to the challenge. You know, we've played some great teams, and I love our region and the teams that we get to play. It's a very tough region, you know, if not the toughest in the country. Us or Florida, the South region, people would argue, but you know, we played Catawba and Newberry and Lenore Ryan and North Georgia and Mount Olive, and these are all perennial regional quality teams. And so, you know, that's what makes you better. And we want to play as many of those games as possible so that when we hopefully do get to a regional late in the year, we're battle tested.
Yeah. Yeah. We're actually going to talk about that region in just one second. But before we do, John Michael, from a player's perspective, you know, what have you noticed about the team? Like Coach said, it's very experienced. What have you noticed about everyone kind of coming together now?
Yeah. So I think playing great teams like that, like he was talking about, it also, you know, it makes us better. And so we go into each and every game. And, you know, I think this team, the special thing that I've noticed about this team is that I think we play with a chip on our shoulder. You know, we have that bulldog mentality every time we go out on that field. That's kind of like, you know, no matter who the team is or what they've done, you know, they haven't played us. And so that's the kind of attitude that we go out and play with each and every day. And so we have played some great teams. And so I think it also builds the experience for when we do get later on in the year.
Coach, you were reading our minds, hitting on the regional there a second ago. Now, we've had the defending champs on, and as we know, you are aware, they hail from the Southeast region. Wayne and I have talked in length about how this region has become the most underrated in the nation and one of the best. So for both of you, John, Michael, what's it like to play in this part of the country? And then Coach, after that, what do you have to do to make it to Cary?
So playing in this region is awesome, I would say. You know, we get to play great teams all throughout the year, and you know, hopefully it'll warm up soon because it's been really windy and cold and brisk. So you know, we'll see. But usually when it hits late March and early April, it starts to warm up, and you know, the ball flies a little bit better. So we'll see. But I love playing in the region that we play in. We have some great teams all around this region, and so you know, it's exciting.
Yeah, and for me, like as a competitor, I want to be in the best region. You know, I want to play the best. It's not enjoyable for me, and I don't think it is for my players to play subpar teams or teams that maybe aren't as talented. I want to play good teams like Wingate and like Catawba and Mount. I mean, those are the teams I get excited to play. You know, any person out there wants to play the best and compete against the best. So I'll tell you this: I didn't play Division II baseball. I played Division I baseball at South Carolina, and then I went to professional baseball. When I got here, I was really blown away at the talent in Division II baseball. It's not what people would perceive. You think, oh, Division II by nature, D1, D2, it's a lower level. I would tell you it's a lower level in budgets and finances, facilities. But when it comes to talent on the field, man, there's a lot of Division II teams that could go and compete right away at the Division I level. There are teams in my conference I think would win some other Division I conferences around the country. And I think other coaches would say the same. So I think it's a really good brand of baseball. I think that a lot of guys that come and play at this level, they do so because they love the game, and they're not just coming for the bright lights and, you know, shiny toys. I mean, you have to really love baseball to play sometimes at the Division II level. Our region, like you said, Wingate beat us last year in our regional. We hosted here on this field, and then they went on and won the national championship. Great run by them. You know, Columbus State beat us a couple years ago and went all the way to the national championship and lost, I think, in the national championship. So there's always seems to be a really strong representative from our region, and we want to be that representative this year. You know, we keep coming up close, and we've been to a regional, I don't know, 4 out of 6 years, 3 years in a row, and we're really ready for it to be our time to break through and get to Cary.
Yeah, it's like you said too, the budget, and really in your part, you know, to go play at Tampa, that's like a D2 power, but their school's so big. Your school's like Wingate, it's so small, right? And that Southeast region. And I think that's why you guys get slept on. And I mean, that could be to your advantage sometimes, right? When teams sleep on you because they don't necessarily know who you are, because maybe the coverage isn't as great or the school isn't as big. And I think that played to the Bulldogs' advantage last year in Cary, because they just blew everybody away.
Yeah, and we're here in the Southeast, and this is good weather year round, and these guys get to come out and play year round, and it's good baseball. I mean, I was fortunate through my playing career to play all over the country, with a lot of different places. If you name the state, I probably played baseball there at some point. I really believe that South Carolina, and I didn't grow up in South Carolina, so I'm not like a homer from here. I grew up in North Carolina, but I would tell you per capita, South Carolina maybe has the best baseball in the country per capita. I mean, you look at what, even at the collegiate level, with South Carolina and Coastal Carolina both winning national championships in the last 10 years, there's a lot of great baseball that comes out of this state. And just the Carolinas and Georgia, which is big, Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee is our region. That's really good baseball historically. So I think we have a gauntlet to go through to get to Cary. And, that makes you, I would imagine, I hope to find out, I think it makes you more battle tested once you get there and you feel confident going against those other teams in Cary.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, this one's for you. I want to talk about it. You mentioned that the pitching was kind of different this year, right? But looking at the numbers, statistically speaking, it's almost better than the past couple of years. What have you seen in the staff so far, and what do you think they have to continue doing down the stretch to build on this success?
It's been a unique year for us. We've had to get creative. We lost 4 starters from last year's team, which is, kind of nuts. We returned one guy that started, I think he started 6 or 7 games last year, named Reese Fields. He's had a great season so far. He's really been our anchor of our staff. I think he was conference player of the week 3 weeks in a row. So he's been doing phenomenal. But we lost the starter due to some eligibility issues at the break. We lost another guy to a Tommy John issue. So we've kind of found ourselves without a lot of prototypical starting pitchers. So we've gone with more of an opener model. We've been opening some bullpen guys and letting, trying to get the 50, 60 pitches out of them. And we have really good bullpen depth, I think. And that's really helped us. So we feel strong about the number of arms that we have that are quality arms in our bullpen, but we don't have that guy that's going to go out there and throw 100 pitches every weekend other than Reese Fields. He's the one we have. So it's been unique. We're using openers. We're using bullpen guys, a lot of matchups. We know their strengths, and I think we shift and position well according to our pitchers and the kind of stuff they have. We've developed our guys to be strike throwers. We really want to pound the strike zone. We want to pitch to contact. We want our defense to play. And this year has been a cool year. So, from where I thought we would be in January, I was nervous about the pitching staff, to be honest. And now here we are, 60, 70% through the season, and we're ranked number 1 in the conference in pitching. I wouldn't have imagined that, but I'm proud of that. And I think these pitchers are, these guys are just hitting their stride, and they can get even better than what they're doing.
Coach, as a former Division II student athlete, I appreciated your comment just about the excellent level of play at the D2 level. And that really, like you said, you eliminate at this level guys playing for any other reason other than they love the game of baseball. So for both of you, what have you noticed that makes Division II so special to you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's there's a maybe a little bit increased level of passion or want to. My dad would say want to. You got to have some want to in you. At the Division II level, I think that this is not you're not getting the same recognition. You're not playing on ESPN every weekend. You're not getting post-game interviews and 10,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, you have to love the game because of the game. This is a sport that John Michael Faile grew up loving this game, and he would probably go play on a field in the middle of nowhere with nobody's watching just because he loves to play. That's how I was. And so I think we have a team full of those guys. And when you have guys that are playing for the game and playing for the teammate next to them, the brother in that foxhole with them, that's when you find some magic, and that's when you compete at a higher level. And I've loved that about Division II baseball. And just my aspiration, my respect for Division II sports altogether kind of in lines with that. I just think that the players at these levels don't get the same amount of like gear and equipment, and they don't stay in nice hotels, and they don't probably get as much meal money on road trips. And but man, you go watch some. I would advise anybody out there, go watch some Division II sports. You'll be surprised of how much these players care and how hard they work. And I love it. I love where I'm at.
Yeah, I can just kind of echo what he said, but you know, it's fun getting out here, and you know, we're not playing in front of 50,000 people every night, so you know, it's just everybody's out here because they love the game of baseball, and it's so fun seeing our team kind of gel together throughout the entire season and see us come together as one team. And so just kind of the whole aspect of going through that year and kind of whatever happens throughout the year, you know, when something happens and, you know, we're getting battle tested throughout the whole year, but just to really see everything come together and that family atmosphere that we have, it's so fun to watch and be a part of. And, you know, this team has so much fun playing out there, no matter if there's 50,000 people or if there's 10 people. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're preaching to two people that love D2 sports, so you don't have to convince us. we know what you're going through. But that was the easy part of the show, gentlemen, because now comes the D2 Nation hot seat. Are you ready?
John Mike would want, he'd be excited about a hot seat right now. He's over here shivering because it's a little cold out.
No, I was actually going to make that comment. I was like, earlier he said like, oh, it's a little cold. And I'm like,
I got to toughen him up. I thought I had a tough guy on my hands, but he's over here shivering.
You guys are both wearing short sleeves outside, so it can't be that bad. Like, come on.
It was 75 degrees there in practice, but the sun set and we're up here in the mountains a little bit and the wind's blowing and he's over here shivering next to me. So, all right, yeah, we're ready for the hot seat. Let's go.
All right, these are rapid fire questions, so we're going to get you in the heat really quick. Bethany, get them started.
Okay, we'll start easy. John Michael, for you, who's your favorite baseball player and team?
Derek Jeter, New York Yankees.
Me too. A little different. Who is a baseball manager or coach you've admired over the years, and who is your favorite team?
I mean, my head coach in college, Ray Tanner, was just a guy that I admired my whole life. I always looked up to him. He was a big mentor for me. So I he's a legend. He won several national championships, and so I would have to say Coach Tanner. Or my dad was also a great coach, and I respect him a lot. And then my favorite major league team, the Oakland A's. That's who drafted me. That's who I played for. I grew up a Braves fan, but once Oakland drafted me, I'm ride or die Oakland. So.
Yeah, that does change. That just changed your tune pretty quickly, I would imagine. All right, this is where it gets harder. John Michael, you first. What is the best baseball movie of all time?
Field of Dreams.
Coach?
I don't know if there's a wrong answer there. Field of Dreams, great movie. I will say Bull Durham. I grew up in Apex, right outside of Durham. My dad was actually in the movie. He was an umpire in the movie.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of have to say Bull Durham. And another one for me would be Perfect Game, or For Love of the Game. Sorry. For Love of the Game. I was fortunate to catch a perfect game in the big league. So that movie always kind of hits home for me, and it's just really cool.
Dallas Braden, right? Was that the
Dallas Braden, yep.
Yep.
John Michael, what is your walkout song?
My walkout song is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by Will Smith.
Hey, nice timing on that one.
I know, that's a bit risque.
Yeah, it's kind of
oh my God.
Kind of ironic there, but
Coach, if you had the choice to pick the pregame music while the guys are playing long toss, what would it be?
I'm a country guy. I like country music. In pro ball, Sundays was always country music day, and that was always my favorite day to play. And little country music on a Sunday morning in BP gets me feeling good. Now these guys not so much. He likes country music too, but this generation now is a little different. So,
all right. Favorite food?
My favorite food, I would say chicken Alfredo.
Coach?
As you can look at me and tell, I like it all. But I'm an Italian guy, so I'm a big chicken Alfredo guy, chicken Parmesan, good pizza. But man, I mean, I also really like seafood, like fried shrimp and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't dislike much food. So.
What show is your favorite binge-worthy television or Netflix show?
My favorite show? Oh gosh, The Office.
Good one, Coach.
Man, my wife and I watch a lot of shows. So We have a ton of them. So any like Netflix or any show?
Any show, TV or Netflix.
Like, we love Survivor. My son watches Survivor with us. My wife and I love Survivor. John Mike's a big Brother fan, but you've kind of fallen off.
I have a different answer.
Okay.
Oh,
Yellowstone. That's my favorite.
Yellowstone. Yeah.
Yellowstone.
that is said once an episode by somebody. I kid you not.
Yellowstone, 1883 are great. My wife and I are now on the new Last Kingdom. There's a new season that just came out of Last Kingdom on Netflix, and we love that show too. So I would say television's kind of like food. I like it all.
All right, here's the last one. Ready? They're similar, but they're gonna be a little different. John Michael, we'll start with you. What is a hidden talent outside of baseball people may not know you have?
A hidden talent.
What would you say? Singing.
Yeah, I love to sing. I don't know how good I am at it,
He's very good.
but I do love to sing.
That's awesome.
We do a lot of karaoke on the buses. That's one of our kind of traditions here. After we win games and we're riding that bus back to back home, we do bus karaoke on the mic up front. And John Mike's one of the guys that gets up there and performs. He's not just singing because we're making him; he's performing, and it's always well received.
Well, John Michael, girls must hate you.
Coach, if you were a baseball coach, kind of the similar question, what would you be doing?
I don't know. Man, that's hard to think. I felt like my entire life I always knew I was going to be a coach when I got done playing. But the other thing that I was interested in was business. My dad owned a couple companies. I got a business degree in college. So I always thought it would be fun to start a business and, run a company or do something like that. But luckily, Wayne, I didn't have to do that because I got to coach for a living, and I hope to do this till I retire. So I don't want a real job. I like what I'm doing.
Understood. Well, we're going to go let you get warmed up, and we just want to thank you again for joining us.
We're thrilled to be here. Appreciate your coverage of Division II sports and Division II baseball, and guys like us, we really appreciate what you guys are doing.
And we appreciate those kind words. So before we go, remember D2 Nation, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you want to take a listen. Give us a follow, and we'll see you next week on the D2 Nation.